Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your time zone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Ogbanje Joseph. Please subscribe to this channel, share, like, as well as drop a comment on the comment section. So today we're looking at the factors that guide educational planning in Nigeria. Factors that guide educational planning in Nigeria. There are different factors that guide educational planning, and the factors are as follows. Number one, availability of planning experts. An expert is someone that has undergone formal educational training in designated tertiary institutions and also certified. Additionally, an expert would have undergone different online on-the-job training, in form of workshops, conferences, symposia, and so on. If there are educational planning experts, there are differences, there are experiences about the nitty-gritty of the work will positively affect the process of educational planning. As a student, you can determine who is an expert based on the acquired skill, the certification, and performance while on the field. One of the Nigerian economic and development planning experts in the person of Edward Jide Ayo, who authored the book Development Planning in Nigeria, wrote in his book that he had the opportunity of participating in the preparation and execution of all the four national development plans. He added that as at 1960s, the Nigerian economy was characterized by being underdeveloped, but due to the rigorous economic planning that was put in place by the government, there had been structural transformation. To this end, if economic and development planning experts can give such testimony, then educational planning experts should even have better testimonies about their areas. The availability of planning experts is germane as a factor that guides proper educational planning. Now, number two is population growth. Okay, population growth. Population has to do with the human composition of a given area, state, nation, or even continent. The population is, however, made up of children, boys, girls, men, women, people that are specially created, or put in another way, people that are physically challenged. Though the belief that it is in such disability that there is ability, you need to note that year in, year out, there are changes in the population composition such that people that were boys and girls, will increase in age and become men and women, while those that were children will graduate to become boys and girls, and invariably adults. You need to note further that education need of the children is different from that of the young boys and girls who are in the primary school level, while that of men and women who are at the third level of education is also different. As much as there are differences in population growth rates relative to the different age groups, there are educational needs. Their educational needs will also differ. Summarily, the growth in population is one one other factor that guides educational planning. Okay. Number three, favorable political environment. The stability of a nation's political situation or environment is a function of progress in varied dimensions. Non-occurrence of coup and counter-coup on a regular basis in a nation's polity is a good omen of favorable political environment. If, however, there is political instability as a result of coup and counter-coup, that good educational plans will tend to fail. The reason being that if the educational plan was put together by a civilian government and the military hijacked, the government democratically, you know, put together education plan will not democratically put together education plan will not see the light of the day. Rather, the military will put together their own thought fit education plans. Okay, so number four, religion. As a student, each and every one of the students, or one of you, belong to a religious sect, which could either be Christianity, Islam, or other forms of religion. It is pertinent that each individual will not want his or her religion to be packed aside and not be considered in the course of educational planning. So, religion is a strong variable of consideration while planning education for a given community. This is to give room for acceptability of the proposed plan by the beneficiaries. Number five. Number five is state of the economy. This is another factor that influences educational planning. The state of the economy implies how financially buoyant and capable the country is to be able to implement the proposed educational plan. It should be noted that an economy that do not depend on a single means of foreign earnings stands the opportunity of realizing favorable foreign exchange. So an economy that is diversified in terms of means of foreign exchange earnings will benefit from such varieties and be able to boost, or boast of favorable financing for educational planning. Okay, so a few of these features that I have actually mentioned are those things that actually make up the educational planning in Nigeria. There are cultural aspect of it, there are political aspect of it, there are economic aspect of it. Okay, but what is important is that the educational planning must actually take note of all of these things that I've mentioned above, which are availability of planning experts, okay, population growth, okay, favorable political environment, religion, and of course the state of the economy. I also talked about the culture of the people too, because of course the culture and tradition of the people have to be built into the educational planning of every country. Apart from culture and tradition, the prevailing civilization you know should also be co-opted into the educational planning as well. A very good example is the ICT. Of course, the world has become a global village, and one of the major means through which globalization is actually festered is through ICT. So information and communication technology is actually very important when educational planning is being contemplated. Okay, so those are the features, those are the ways in which educational planning can actually be readily identified. you know um, so thank you very much.